Man, there is just tons of art to choose from on here. Really nailing the chiaroscuro right here. I can also show off that art history class that I took. Really modern. That one looks great. Totally draws the room together. What the? How did that get on there? I didn't put those on there. I can't get it to go away. Hello, Samsung? Yeah, I think I've been hacked. Hey everyone, welcome to Break It Yourself. Today we're going to be reviewing the 2022 Samsung The Frame TV. We went with the 65-inch and really got this TV because of the art mode. We don't use our TV very often. It's above our fireplace, and we thought, hey, this would look great as an art piece for 99% of the time that it is up there. So that is why we chose this model. Now, let's get into some of the things that we love, and then we'll get into some of the things that we don't like. We are so close to 50,000 subscribers. As a celebration, we're gonna be giving away free merch. So you can DM me your address on Instagram and I will send you something, or you can send me a self-addressed stamped envelope to my PO box, which will be in the description below, and you'll get a little bit better merch if you do it that way. First off, the difference between the 2022 and the 2021, there's some very subtle, small differences. The first is the anti-glare finish that this has. So it's a lot more matte than previous versions. Additionally, in all the documentation that I was going through, it looks very similar to the 2021, except somehow this uses slightly less power as well. You could probably get a 2021 and apply a film, a matte film to it to have that anti-glare. And there's some people that have done that online. I am actually gonna test that on another TV. So go ahead and stick around because I'm gonna have another video coming to see if we can pull this off with like a DIY version. So a cheaper Samsung TV, put the matte film on it or the anti-glare film on it, and then put it in ambient mode and see how it looks compared to this in art mode. Other than art mode, other than the anti-glare finish, some things that we really like about this television, the One Connect cable. Now our situation is unique. We have brick behind our TV here. It's a pain to do anything. Mounting it is a little bit harder. Also running cables and whatnot. So the One Connect cable is one cable that connects into the back of the TV, and then it runs down to wherever you're keeping your AV equipment. There will be a box that cable plugs into, and it's gonna have all your HDMI ports, USB, all of that stuff. So if you ever needed to like switch inputs or plug something in, if you had an Xbox or a computer or a stick, like a Fire TV stick or Chromecast, something like that, it is easily accessible depending on where you put that box. You do not have to get behind the TV pretty much ever again once you have that One Connect cable connected. And because of our setup, that was high on our list of reasons that we went with this TV. There are other Samsungs that offer the One Connect cable, but we were kind of weighing the art mode plus the One Connect, which really kind of pushed us towards the frame. One thing to note about the One Connect cable is that you're not supposed to run it through walls because it's carrying high voltage and it's not rated for that. They do make a shield to run it through walls, and they also make a longer version. So the standard one that comes with the TV, I believe, is 15 feet long, and then you can buy one that's up to 50 feet long. It's not cheap though. This TV is 4K. I was upgrading from a 1080p television that was 10 years old, and this looks great to me. It looks absolutely phenomenal. Additionally, the viewing angles compared to my old TV, which was 10 years old, are much better. I tried to do as many tests as I could, lights on, lights off, art mode, standard mode, watching a movie, with moving the camera around so that you could see the different angles. And I'm not exactly sure why this is, but it looked like sometimes the camera would darken portions of the screen when it was moving around, and I did not see that with my eyes. So I just wanted to let you know that generally the viewing angles are incredible. Like you can get all the way on the side, which you would never watch anything like that, and it looks fine. Looks fine from above and below and from the sides. I think it's got a wide range of viewing angles, so that is good as well. Another thing that we like is I didn't want to have to manually make a frame for this television, so they make a few different types of just plastic that snaps on around the TV to try to sell that frame look. And so we went ahead and got one that is teak, and it was really easy to install. Looks pretty good. It's only about an inch thick, so you can get it super close to the wall, and it totally sells the look of an actual frame, especially with that cable. And if you can manage to hide that cable, then it's really gonna sell that look as the frame. And then ultimately, the thing that we're probably a biggest fan of is the art mode, because that's what this TV is gonna stay in 99% of the time. In addition to art mode, they've also got some things to try to like save power. So it has a motion sensor on here. You can set it to turn off after X number of minutes so that you're not just wasting the TV sitting here. So it will probably go off and turn back on a couple times while I'm making this video, which will get me into one of the cons about the motion sensor as well. On top of that, it also has a light sensor. And I also believe that that sensor is looking at the temperature of the light that's coming in. So this TV will adjust the brightness and the color temperature of the screen, and it tries to match the surrounding lighting. So this is a correction over the first look video that I made. So in the first look video, I thought it was just brightness. I thought the sensor just looked at room brightness, but I can confirm that it is actually changing the temperature of the color of the screen as well, based on the type of lighting that you had. So I did some tests. The lights that I have in this room, they can be, they're bi-color, so they can be warm white or pretty much like daylight to that blue light. So right now they're on like 56K. So that's that really blue white. And then I could change them down to 32 Kelvin to get that warm white. And you could actually see the screen change color temperature. So that was really good to know. I will say, it doesn't always look like a piece of art up there. A lot of the times it does. It really depends on the lighting and dialing those settings exactly in. Sometimes, depending on how the sunlight is coming in, it's amazing. Like it looks just incredible. And then other times you're like, yeah, that's obviously a screen. Generally though, I think it looks very good, especially compared to a regular TV screen. I would say most times that it doesn't look like art is when you have really dim light. And that's just because this thing is lit up with a backlight, or it gets so dim that it's really hard to see. So I think it struggles in the lower light environment, which is, to me, doesn't really matter, because whenever it's that dark, I'm going to bed and I don't really care what this thing looks like. But generally during the day or when the lights are on, it does a very good job. Now there is some confusion online about art mode versus ambient mode. So even in the documentation for the 2022 frame, it even references ambient mode. And in all the research that I've done, it just has art mode. Other Samsung televisions have what they call ambient mode. Now, when I talked to Samsung, they said, yeah, the things that you get in ambient mode are like these backgrounds that some of them move, some of them have the time on them. Those are still located in art mode. So my understanding is you can get everything that you would get in ambient mode inside of the art mode for this TV. Now, that is not explained well anywhere, and it took me a while to find where that actually was. We'll kind of get into some of those gripes later as well, but I just wanted to let you know that there is no technical ambient mode, but all of those features that you could get inside the ambient mode are also housed in art mode. You can also have custom artwork up here, which is pretty cool. So either pictures you've taken, or if you buy art from other people online, I think it's popular to like get stuff off of Etsy. You have to download the SmartThings app onto your smartphone and upload it that way, which is kind of a pain, but that there is a way to do that. You can also put multiple photos on a mat, which I think is pretty cool. So if you had family photos that you wanted to display or something like that, that is pretty neat. And then you can go into slideshow mode. So either with the artwork that you like that Samsung provides or that you've purchased or pictures you've uploaded, you can have it cycle through on different frequencies on the order of like minutes to hours to change the picture so it's not always the same. I've kind of just stuck with static, but you can do a slideshow mode as well. In the settings, you can adjust the brightness of the TV to help dial it into the room, as well as the color temperature, which is really the white balance is what you're adjusting. And also you can add mats. So you can put a mat around whatever it is that you're displaying, whether it's pictures or art, and then you can pick a color for that mat. So they have a few different mat styles and they have a bunch of different colors as well. I wish they would let you pick like custom colors for the mat, but they give you, I mean, it's a wide range of colors to choose from. I just wish they had like a color wheel and you could dial in exactly the color that you wanted. But they give you a nice catalog of colors to choose from. Generally, I'm very pleased with the TV and I have good things to say about it. And now I'm gonna get into the things that were kind of annoying and that I do not like about this TV. A lot of it is software related, which Samsung could easily fix. So that gives me a lot of hope. I don't have gripes really about the hardware other than how to mount this TV. The TV has 2 mounting brackets. So instead of your traditional 1 that you would put on the wall, you have 2 that you have to install. I'm very handy. It was not an issue for me. I was also going into brick. I'm experienced doing that. Because it has 2 brackets and the distance that they would be apart, I would be nervous about getting them both into a stud. I know that it's not required. They have ways to mount into drywall that could hold the weight of this TV. I would be nervous about that. I know it's technically possible, but I wanted to let you know that there's 2 brackets now instead of 1. And once you get it hung, you do actually have some play. And it feels just like a picture frame to actually straighten it out and move it. So that's what happened to us. I had the brackets, what I thought was perfectly level. I think one was slightly lower than the other one. Got it hung up on those brackets and I was able to ever so slightly just move the TV to get it really exactly in line with these grout lines on the brick. So the negative being the 2 brackets, the positive being that it is adjustable once you actually get it up and mounted. I've found that the motion sensor is not great. It could be user error. I've read some other people kind of say the same thing as well online. Sometimes it seems to work really well. Sometimes it doesn't seem to work really well. You can mess around with the sensitivity. So it has a high, medium, and low setting. But again, it's annoying to get to those settings. What you actually have to do is in art mode, you have to scroll all the way to the bottom to actually find these 3 settings that they have down there. I just stumbled upon it. I had no idea how to get to that. I was Googling around trying to find it. I was in art mode and I was like, you know what? Let me just go all the way to the bottom. So it's not intuitive on how to get there at all. And I actually think that that is a huge improvement that they could make. Like I said, most of my gripes are going to be on the software side and how everything is laid out. So to get to the sleep timer, which they call like sleep after however many minutes, the motion detector settings are also at the bottom, as well as night mode. And night mode is if it senses no light, then it's gonna turn off. I wish the light sensor was a little bit better so that it could really dial in the brightness and the color temperature no matter what your room is doing. It does okay, I just wish that it was better. Another thing that's a little annoying that would be a nice to have is that the TV currently cannot play music or anything while in art mode. So you will have some ambient mode items in that art mode that will play sounds, and it's just whatever that item is. So if one of them plays like birds and wind, it's just gonna play that. You cannot have it play music, ambient art mode at the same time. That is an improvement that I would like to see. Another complaint, which I already mentioned, but I just wanna tell you exactly how to get to it. So the ambient mode versus the art mode thing. So this TV, to my understanding, does not have ambient mode. But to get to it, let me tell you how to get to what would be ambient mode. You hit the home button, the left directional button, you go to art, which should be the 3rd icon on the left-hand side. Once accessed, you'll see various categories like For You, New Selections, The Spirit of Cities, and more. You continue scrolling until you see complementary, which is where you'll find ambient options such as cinematograph, decor, relaxation, and more. So those things, like I said, are still under art mode. They do not have an ambient mode. You can also favorite artwork, and they'll have a favorites folder that they'll make for you as well. So if you're going through, or if you purchase the art through Samsung, then you can favorite a bunch of stuff, and then you can have a favorites folder as well. So that is another kind of con. I knew going in that you'd have very limited free art and everything else you would have to pay for. So I've been totally happy with the free art that they have. And to be honest, if there's something that I really want, I'm probably gonna go online and either buy it or use one of my own pictures or something like that. I'm not gonna subscribe to Samsung's artwork so that I get all of their artwork. I'm just currently not that interested in that. Now let's get to the remote. I'm generally not a fan of the remote, and maybe it's just because I'm old school, but a combination of the remote and the TV software, one of the things that drove me nuts when I was trying to find is I plugged in a Chromecast to HDMI, and I was trying to just find the input. Like, how do I just change the input? On my old TV, there was literally an input button. And you just press input and it'd be like HDMI 1, 2, 3. This TV, and maybe I'm just way behind the times, doesn't have that. So I spent tons of time trying to find it. And then I eventually ended up stumbling upon it, but it does not have an input control on the remote, and the software was very confusing on how to get there. It was not intuitive, and it was very challenging to figure out. And I generally consider myself someone who's relatively techie and can figure stuff out, and I was super disappointed in that. Maybe it's because I haven't had a new TV in 10 years, and this is something that's slowly been happening over time, and everybody out there is already accustomed to it except for me. Could definitely be the case. I had a very hard time. There's no input select. Also, the remote doesn't take any batteries. It is rechargeable. It has a USB-C charger that you can plug in, or it has a little solar panel on the back so you could leave it face up and let it get some light that way. Generally, I mean, that's fine, that's great. What I would like to see is if they had some type of battery meter. That would be really helpful to know, like, oh, should I put it in the sun or should I plug it in? I have not found a way yet to read the battery level of the remote. It hasn't died on me yet, and for all intents and purposes, it probably lasts for a very long time, but generally not a big fan of the remote. I hope this review of the Samsung Frame 2022 was helpful if you are in the market for one of these TVs. Stick around because I'm going to be trying to make my own with a regular Samsung TV and an anti-glare film, so you're not going to want to miss that. Subscribe. As always, don't forget to thumbs me up, and we will see you next time. Who is that right there?
That.
But who's the other? Who's this one right here? Who's that?
That.
Mm-hmm. Hey, baby. Did you have fun at the park?
That.
Yeah.